Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Tobago Regional Health Authority has reaffirmed its commitment to fair and transparent overtime compensation for nursing staff as industrial tensions continue to build within the public health sector. In a media release issued on March 27th, the authority said it remains committed to ensuring nurses are properly compensated for additional duties while maintaining efficiency in healthcare delivery across Tobago. The statement comes days after the Trinidad and Tobago National Nurses Association warned that nurses could withhold extra duty services over government's move to standardize pool rates. And I believe from what I read online, the pool rates for the past few years, I think, was $75 per hour. And now the government wants to carry it back down to $60 per hour. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I saw on Google. And to me, I think that once again, the government is falling short. Yes, we understand that PNM, you inherited a bankrupt economy from the PNM, but you know the cost of living is extremely high. And people at the end of the day, it appears that the law says that you cannot mandate someone to work an extra duty. So what are you going to do? Mandate them to work overtime, and therefore you still have to end up paying a whole lot more money. You're being counterproductive once again. Is TANCU involved in this? I want to know. I just really want to know. The TTNNA president, Eddie Stewart, said the association is prepared to push back against the changes, arguing that nurses are not obligated to accept extra shifts under revised arrangements, right? But remember, that's the extra duty. But it appears to be that they could be mandated to work overtime. So what are you going to do? Make them work an extra, 8 to 12 hours overtime? And just imagine the kind of money that you're going to have to pay them for those extra hours. If they are mandated to work extra duty, the authority will have to pay overtime. That's what the official went on to say. Time and a half, double time, triple time. Stewart said, warning of potential cost implications for health authorities. You're going to have to end up paying extra in the long run. Why don't just pay the people the $75 that they're willing to take? Not making any sense, TANCU? The move was sparked growing anger among nurses, particularly, or the move has sparked growing anger among nurses, particularly specialized staff, describing it as an unjustified rollback of long-standing arrangements. Now, let's be clear about something. They may not have been kicking so much fuss if the PNM was in office. It doesn't change the fact that what is taking place is unfair, people. It is. The TRHA said the nursing pool system, which was suspended during the 2018 to 2019 period, is currently under review as part of efforts to strengthen workforce management and improve staffing efficiency. Let's just remember, people, we are not just, or you, because I have already said I'm no member of any political party. I prefer the UNC being in government, but I will hold them accountable and I will criticize when it is needed. And in a case like this, once again, I don't like what is taking place. I believe that the Nursing Association is justified in their actions at this point in time. Don't go anywhere. More local, regional, and international news up next. The Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago has maintained its repo rate at 3.5%, continuing a cycle of stability that it first introduced in March of 2020. In its quarterly announcement issued yesterday, the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee noted that while data from the Ministry of Energy indicated that crude oil production rose by 3.1% during October and November 2025, natural gas output declined by 8.6% in that period. Why is there a decline? People, we need to be able to ensure that doesn't take place. So because the PNM PHS is going to say, you see what's going on? And then they want to reopen Petrogen and all kind of nonsense. The release from the bank noted that domestic financial conditions are favorable despite pockets of tightness, adding that system liquidity remains ample, notwithstanding a dip in early 2026. People, it's going to take a while for the economy to recover. And as I keep saying over and over again, like if I'm preaching it, we need Petrotrin to be reopened. because that's the backbone of our economy, whereby that's how we're going to be able to allocate a whole lot more foreign revenue, the colonial money, the money that Trinidadians and Caribbean people love, but they don't like the people that own the money. Scores of residents turned up at the constituency office of the Member of Parliament for Siparia, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa, on Saturday to access the services of the Legal Aid and Advisory Authority through the authority's mobile legal aid clinic. People actually be going to be able to probably, have some kind of consultations with these officials in order to determine whatever issue they're facing in their personal lives, if they could get some sort of representation. And this is wonderful. A mobile legal aid clinic. I wonder if it will come grandly. I have no issue to go and address, but a lot of people might probably need some type of assistance.
So in an effort to bring access to those who are under-resourced, underprivileged, who do not have the means to travel to one of our offices. We have offices in San Fernando, Port of Spain. We have offices in Tobago, we have in Shogunas, we have in Arima. But sometimes the simple task of taking a taxi to get to an office might be hard for some people. So to facilitate access to justice for all, we came up with our mobile outreach program.
Ms. Rambachan explained that the mobile program intends to provide legal advice to as many people as possible.
Where we have mobile buses with 2 officers in there. In that office, I have 2 attorneys who are meeting with members of the public. So we will go out to locations, rural locations where persons may not have the ability to see an attorney, and have them get legal representation and advice.
She further highlighted the work of the authority.
Part of the Legal Aid and Advisory Authority's role is to provide representation for those who are under-resourced. Simply put, persons who cannot afford an attorney. Once you qualify under the Legal Aid and Advisory Act, the state will provide an attorney for you to represent your interests.
In the coming weeks, the mobile unit will head to Cedros, Rio Claro, Mayaro, and Princestown before heading to communities in North Trinidad. Terry Ann Brown Campbell, TTT News.
Weather forecast, Trinidad and Tobago. Date, Sunday, March 29, 2026. General conditions. Mostly fair and breezy at times. Expect partly cloudy spells accompanied by isolated showers throughout the day. The night will remain mostly fair despite the occasional shower. Temperature, Piarco. High, 31 degrees Celsius. Low, 24 degrees Celsius. Marine conditions. Seas, slight to moderate. Waves 1.0 meters to 1.5 meters in open waters, less than 1.0 meters in sheltered areas. Tides, spring tides are in effect, higher than normal high tides. Sun and air quality. Sunrise 6:01 a.m. Sunset 6:13 p.m. Air quality, moderate Saharan dust concentration. Cautionary note. Exercise caution during high tides due to the spring tide cycle. Individuals sensitive to dust should take necessary precautions.
Regional news now. Some high schools across Western Jamaica are facing challenges with internet access, raising concerns about the delivery of upcoming online examinations. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Mark Malabve, said principals in the region are exploring alternative options as connectivity issues continue. And most of it persists. Most likely that is taking place because of what the damage that took place, the extensive damage that took place during Hurricane Melissa. I don't know if this is something that is a new issue, or if it's because of what took place there last year. Could be a little bit of both. Could be something new or whatsoever. Having said that, as we're talking about the schools, I believe the time has come. It will take a while, especially in Trinidad and Tobago. All schools should be fully air conditioned. Yes, people, primary schools, secondary schools should be fully air conditioned. We're living in a very hot tropical country. How much we live in, and we want to go become first world status. And have we going we can't want to reach first world status and having our students and teachers enduring extremely hot days with a fan that blowing hot breeze, and then you have the windows open or whatsoever. But that ain't gonna help. Even when you're home and it is a very hot day, you gotta have all the windows open, and you could have about 2-3 fans on you, and you're still feeling as though you're in a furnace. Yesterday, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development in Guyana, Honorable Priya Manikchan, visited several communities across the East Bank and Georgetown that were severely impacted by flooding following heavy persistent rainfall overnight. During her visits, Minister Manikchan engaged directly with residents, taking the time to hear their concerns and understand the challenges they are facing as a result of the flooding. She assured residents that the issues will be addressed where possible through follow-up community meetings to be held once the rainfall has subsided. Conditions allow for detailed planning and intervention. And that government, the Ufanali administration, has been doing a whole lot to improve infrastructure and drainage in Guyana, but everything can't be done one time. It's just like how even UNC and Trinidad and Tobago are being proactive, trying to prepare as much as possible in preparation for the upcoming rainy season later this year. I just hope that before rainy season reaches here in Trinidad and Tobago, but in Trinidad, they will come and clean and clear the river in Sangre Grande, dredge it as much as possible. Bright-eyed and full of curiosity, students at Reynald Weeks Primary School in St. Philip explored a range of careers on Friday during an interactive showcase. The event, hosted by the Barbados Police Service and other emergency agencies, featured traffic canine, band and community policing units alongside the fire service, emergency ambulance service, and environmental health department. This is the kind of activities I love seeing police getting involved in, instead of always just being bullies on our nation roadways and abusing the authority and committing the same type of traffic offenses that they charge other people and they buff up other people for doing. Grand Bahama residents are reacting to government's plan to take control of the Grand Bahama Power Company, and opinions are split. Supporters believe government control could end the unfair burden of high electricity rates and fuel charges that often exceed the actual cost of power. Prime Minister Philip Davis urges that bringing Grand Bahama's electricity into the national system will provide fairer rates and better oversight. Let's just hope that he isn't just saying that, and yet when it actually takes place, if he wins the elections and it ends up being owned by the state, doesn't end up leaving the rates high and saying, you know what, we just can't do it right now. That Jed, we'll do it in the future, Jed, like PNM. All right. Some residents feel that government ownership would give them a stronger voice in utility operations compared to the current private monopoly. Opposition leader Michael Pintard has labeled the proposed $280 million government-backed acquisition a gamble with public finances, noting it lacks a clear valuation of tariff model. Critics point to the government's struggling track record with state-owned utilities like Bahamas Power and Light BPL, questioning if the state can truly offer more reliable or cheaper service. You see what I just told you there? They know. You'll say, yeah, we're gonna take it over. We're going to own it now. The state gonna own it. And then all of a sudden, because of circumstances, you'll say, we can't afford to drop the rates to the people, make more sacrifices for country. Like PNM used to love to say. All of a sudden, they're not saying it anymore. No more sacrifices for country, the people. None. Some local business owners and residents have dismissed the announcement as premature and a political stunt aimed at gaining favor before the upcoming general election. That for sure is, I feel, that's 90%, they're probably 90% correct or 100% correct. I feel this is all about the elections. You know, just like PNM, they make a whole lot of promises just before elections, and then while they're in office, They don't do one thing, a few things in between. A few things in between. Like how they built the new hospital in Sangrai. Yeah, that really was good. You have to give credit when credit is due. But of course, 10 years ago, and it's very few things that you can talk about except a few bus sheds.
The government's plan to take control of Grand Bahama Power Company is being met with a range of reactions, from optimism to skepticism and concern. Under the proposal, a government-owned entity, Grand Bahama Energy Company Limited, would borrow $200 million to acquire all ordinary voting shares in the utility company, with an additional $80 million set aside for the operations. Resident Chad Dean says he believes that if done right, the move could pay off.
I think they'll make their money back in a short space of time. Basically, of course, if it is compatible with, of course, the laws and the regulation of the power and how that works, and competitive pricing. So that would be fabulous if that was indeed the case.
Others, however, are not convinced.
I'm not comfortable with the fact that the government has to again borrow any type of funds to invest again in Grand Bahama. I don't think Grand Bahama needs that type of investment. I think it's being ran not 100%. We're never going to be happy with everything the way things are ran in any one of our islands. However, I think they are doing a great job.
I don't think that it's a good idea at all, because I don't feel there's enough structure for it. I understand the gesture and it needs where we need change, but I don't feel that it is strong enough to do something that, in my opinion.
And with a general election on the horizon, the timing of the move is also being questioned.
I don't know if you want this answer now. I think everybody's just doing it now because the election is so close. They're really looking for votes right now.
But not everyone is critical. This resident believes government control could give residents a greater say in how the power company is run.
As long as they have sourced a good, reliable supply of fuel that will supply the power company, and now at least the Bahamian people will have more say in it because it's their money being used to buy it. It's the taxpayers' money being used to buy it. So yeah, it's an excellent idea.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvardo Emmanuel.
International news now. House Republicans passed a short-term funding patch for the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, over the fierce objections of Democratic lawmakers late Friday evening. But a 42-day shutdown that has snarled air travel and left tens of thousands of federal employees without pay sadly is far from over. House lawmakers voted 213 to 203, largely along party lines, to approve a 2-month funding extension for the beleaguered department, which has been operating without full year appropriations since the funding lapse began on February 14th. The House passed DHS measure faces an uphill battle in the Senate, though, where Democrats have filibustered GOP-authored legislation that includes immigration funding for the past 6 weeks. Both chambers are scheduled to leave Washington for an Easter recess without ending the funding standoff, paving the way for the partial government shutdown to become the longest ever in history. Blame the Democrats, people. Blame the Democrats, because this could pass anytime. And a few rhinos, maybe. This could pass tomorrow. Democrats just don't want to fund ICE. ICE, though, that will protect and remove dangerous illegal immigrants, the gangsters and so forth, or for the streets of America. They don't want to fund ICE. Now for the interesting fact segment. Love truly lasts, and Michael J. Fox and Tracy Pollan are proof of that. Married since 1988 after meeting on Family Ties, one of my favorite shows as a child growing up. Yes, I born 1982. So I used to be watching that as a child, and I love that show. Their relationship has stood strong through decades of fame, challenges, especially health challenges, and purpose. After Fox was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 1991, Pollan remained his steady support, helping him navigate life and inspiring his advocacy work through the Michael J. Fox Foundation. Together, they raised 4 children and built a lasting marriage grounded in loyalty, strength, and real commitment. That is really an inspiring story, a wonderful fact.
Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News Travel Adventures. The Sierra Nevada, a 400-mile range of light in California, offers premier mountain travel featuring iconic national parks like Yosemite and Sequoia. Renowned for granite peaks, giant sequoias, and Lake Tahoe, it attracts hikers, skiers, and nature lovers with adventures like the John Muir Trail. Summer provides temperate exploring, while winter brings heavy snow. Key regions and highlights. Yosemite National Park, famous for towering granite cliffs, El Capitan, Half Dome, waterfalls, and meadows. Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, home to the world's largest trees, including the General Sherman tree. Lake Tahoe, known as North America's largest alpine lake, offering boating, fishing, and skiing. Eastern Sierra, a dramatic landscape featuring rugged peaks, mammoth lakes, and geothermal sites like Hot Creek. Mount Whitney, at 14,505 feet, it is the highest peak in the contiguous United States. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you again tomorrow as our journey around the world continues.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.